a day that was, I don't want to say inevitable, but the day has come to diagnose what happened with this car. After the last video, you guys heard how terrible it sounded, so it's definitely hurt. So what I'm going to do today is try to diagnose it as best as I can to see what the issue could be. Got a lot of theories. I thought initially the blower locked up, but then I thought to myself, why is it making that crazy clunking sound? So the vetting begins. So what I'm going to do is more than likely take this bank of spark plugs out and see what the plugs are doing before I look. It's hurt, so I don't think I'm going to hurt it anymore. Pretty sure everything has to come out and get sent out to get rebuilt, or I have to reassess everything about owning this vehicle. But for now, for some, I don't know, finality, for the sake of like putting a period at the end of a sentence, I'm gonna go ahead and see what's going on with this guy. So more than likely, the first thing to do is take the belt off, spin the rotors, see if there's anything binding there. If there isn't, okay, the blower's okay, because this blower is not mine. This blower is John Sr.'s, and he was nice enough to let me borrow it for some testing. But I think after the pull, everything was really good, really nice, really simple, no issues. Thing was chopping away real nice, and all of a sudden I get to the next light, and it starts surging and popping, and it doesn't even move. Like I put it to the floor, it doesn't even move. So let's do some vetting. Let's see what's going on. Let's see why this thing kicked the bucket, if I can figure it out without deep diving into it too much, and reassess our whole situation with the engine and the car in general. Okay, hopefully you guys don't mind if there's some wind noise. I got the fan going because it's pretty hot. It's going to be a warm day in Florida. So take the cold air out and take a look inside the throttle body area. Let's see if anything is obvious there, like if it's spit back like aluminum chunks or anything like that. I'm hoping not, obviously. For sure. There's some kind of oil there. If you look here, there's a little. It's kind of oily. It's not a good sign. You ever see the movie Awakenings with Robert De Niro and what's that comedian's name? Robin Williams. When Robert De Niro started reverting back to his vegetative state, he wanted to make sure that Robin Williams caught it on video, and he said, learn, because regardless of what Robin Williams was doing, he was going to revert back to a vegetative state. Super sad movie, Awakenings. But that's what I hear in my mind right now. Okay, that's good. So rotors are not seized up. It's a good thing, because that means Senior hopefully has a good blower still, because this is his blower. Bad news is definitely in the motor. So GT500s are definitely different than Coyote when it comes to working on them. That's why I like Gen 2 Coyote. It's super easy, but these are a lot different. So all this wiring mess here is what you're saying is the MSD two-step. The MSD two-step interrupts the signal and does a little two-step action. Well, that could have been an issue. Looks like that's not good. That's kind of the problem. Every time you dyno this car, you gotta like get a trigger signal for the dyno, and it's tucked away in here. And look at this. This looks burned up, no? I mean, I don't think there's a smoking gun per se, but man, that's okay. It was running fine. It was making power, so it wasn't an issue. But man, I really wish GT500s, were better at this. But yeah, the only thing holding it down, holding the coils down, is this. They literally push down on the coil, so it's really easy to jack up. So let's get these guys out and see what the plugs look like. Okay, sorry about the fan, but you know, it's very hot out here and I need a fan. So, this is bank 1. So, passenger side, front cylinder. These are, I think, brisks. Oh my lord, did I do this? I don't think I did this. No way. Unless the piston slapped the shit out of it, but my god. Just need a little leverage. So, depending on what the spark plugs look like, tell me what happened in the cylinder. So, if they're crushed or missing chunks, then bad stuff happened. Look, I think something bad happened. Okay, this one's okay. So spark plug number 1, just really wet. This is on bank 1, cylinder 1. Not that oily. I mean, yeah, it's kind of oily. It's kind of oily. I mean, look, it's hurt. I just have to figure out what's hurt. There we go. That's all. Just need the extra loving. A little higher. The rear cylinder, which is really black. Okay, so this is rear. These are brisk 10s. What is this? And look at this, look at the bottom of the plug. What's going on there? Interesting. This one's clean. This one's like ideal. I mean, tons of oil. Yeah, so it's got oil on the plugs. So, yeah. Same, just a little cleaner on this plug. That's probably the only cylinder that was running halfway clean. So, alright, this side's not terrible, but doesn't really tell the story. So, let me take the blower off and see if I see anything there. Okay, blower's off. So the TVS did not suffer anything catastrophic. It has a little chip here, but that's just the coating. It is not chipped on the actual rotor. It's just the coating. And another coating chip here, no issues, no grinding, no nothing, just a little coating missing on the leading edge of the rotor, so I'm really happy about that. A lot of oil back there, but that was just the case because of it sucking a bunch of oil into here because of this guy. So now what I'm going to do is remove a cam cover and take a look at the timing chains. I've never done this, but I don't mind tackling it. It looks like it's just those center bolts and it pops off, and I'm hoping I find something there like timing chain, secondary, primary timing chain, whatever, see if there's anything slacked, because it sounds like it's out of time. When you listen to a car start, it should go, you know, jigga 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 jigga, you know, like a mechanical proper sound. This thing was like and you're like, it's not timed properly. So hopefully we can find out what the issue is. Blower's okay, thank God. Spark plugs weren't destroyed, thank God. But there's obviously something really bad going on, so I gotta find out what's going on. So let's pull at least this side. Let's pull both of them. Let's see what it all looks like. Might as well, we're here, right? So might as well take a look. Here we go. I looking for? Okay. Alright, let me move some stuff out of the way because this is going to get dirty. Let me clean this up a little bit so I can get after it. See if I can find anything super obvious and go from there. Well, nothing super obvious, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad, but nothing that I would say is like, you know, loose chain. These are those double rollers that are super badass for GT500s. Nothing sticks out to say, you know, smoking gun. Super tight, almost. I don't know what it's supposed to be like. So I'll get with people like Keith Ray and stuff to see what to look out for. But I guess I got to do the other side to see if there's a smoking gun. But no smoking gun. Let's take a look at the journals. I got to clean that up. Put the cover back on with the seal. But nothing that makes me go, aha! Not yet anyway. I would hope like one of those followers fell off or something. But so far everything looks good on this side. So let's go to the other side. See if we can find anything on this side. Survey says, okay, this is just me doing dumb stuff. Okay, cams or rockers, they stayed in one place. They didn't move. I don't see anything that is much of a concern except for the fact that this chain broke. I'm just gonna scooch in here real quick and stay and you know, fuck up your whole day. So obviously there's either a link missing or the tension is gone on it, but it looks like the timing chain went, and I've seen this before on Coyotes. Certain builds were like this. Not gonna name names, but I've seen this before. Now this motor is about 5 years old on the build. It doesn't owe me anything, but I'm at least happy that I was able to diagnose what happened. Now I can talk to people like Jake, Keith Ray at Wonder Racing, see if this is an interference motor, and see if by me driving it up on the tow truck, if it damaged anything. But so far, this is very obvious what caused the issue. So what I'll do is I'll wrap this video up, talk to the right people, and see what I need to do to fix this. I'm okay taking the whole timing cover apart. It's going to take me a long time. That's okay. I'm not going anywhere. But if it can be salvaged, put the chains in it, and get back after it, that'd be cool. But I'll talk to the right people about that. Okay, so we are back at the scene of the crime. After taking everything apart and realizing that the intake cam was not moving, and that's kind of like a very important distinction. The intake cam wasn't moving. What happens when the intake cam doesn't move? Well, let's try to explain to you guys what can happen when the intake cam stops moving. So if the intake cam stops moving, the pistons don't. The pistons are still moving, still doing their own thing. And what happens is when the intake cam, let's just say at one point or another, the intake cam has a intake valve open at some time. That's why you have to time these properly. So what can happen is if an intake valve is opening, meaning going down to suck in air, and the piston is coming up, well, bad things can happen. If you lose control of the intake cam, which that's exactly what happened here, once the secondary timing chain broke, we lost control of the intake cam. So that means at some moment, a intake valve, because this is the intake, this is the exhaust, because it's closer to the exhaust, and this is closer to the intake. Once we lost cam control, valves, one or two or some, depending on where they're at in the chain of command, let's just say, was down, a piston came up, guaranteed we bent the valve. Like, we guarantee we bent the valve. So I talked to Keith Ray at Wonder Racing, and I said, Keith, what is the best course of action when it comes to this? He's like, don't even take the cylinder head apart. Don't even bother. He goes, you're gonna just, there's no room to play in the engine bay. So if I were you, I'll just take it apart, meaning take the motor out of the car, send it to me, and we'll assess. Worst case scenario, you bent every single intake valve. Worst case scenario, you broke a valve and it went into a piston. And that is a pricey proposition, because it needs new pistons at that point. If an intake valve broke because of the upswing of the piston and the opening of the intake cam. I said, well, what do you think I should do to verify that or not? He goes, well, since I don't need the lower plenum, meaning this guy, I don't need that when it comes to messing with this engine. Take it out. It's not that bad. It's a couple of bolts, 2 hoses for the water in and out, and obviously take the fuel rails off of it and see what all happened. And you should be able to see very clearly if a valve is bent. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this the lower blower manifold out of it to disconnect these 2 lines. I'm going to have to disconnect all this stuff here. Anyway, a bunch of stuff. And we're going to take a peek inside and see how bad the intake valves are. I'm hoping they're all still on the head. If they're not, that means one ended up in the piston and really jacked stuff up. Based on the condition of the spark plugs, I don't think that happened. I don't think, if an intake valve made its way into a piston, it probably would have jacked up the spark plug if it hits in the right area. But we'll see. Let's take the plenum off. Let's see if the intake valves are all still in the cylinder head, not on the piston, or rattled itself into a piston. And best case scenario, we'll need a new valve job, new valves, and then we'll get with Keith Ray of Wonder Racing and see what the next step in this motor build is going to be. Do we just rebuild it as is, or do we freshen it up and do other stuff like raise compression, etc., etc.? Right, let me get to work. Let me set up some lights so I can actually see in here and you guys can see, and then we'll assess what's happening in there. Okay, got a little shelf set up so I can keep track of the parts, a light. And what I'm going to do is make sure everything's out of the way. So this guy, take these guys out, and 1, 2, actually this guy's got it. Does that have to come out? Yeah, I think that has to come out. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and maybe that guy too. So yeah, I think all this stuff has to come apart. So let me work on taking all that apart, and we'll hope that all the valves are still connected to the cylinder head when I get in there and take a peek at what's happening. I've been battling with this. There's a hose in the back for some freaking reason. Don't ask me why. There's a hose in the back of this thing. Oh my God. There's a hose underneath this tub in the back. Just dumb shit, dumb shit, dumb shit. Wow. Wow. Like, guys, I'm blown away by, like, who would choose to work on a GT500? Honestly, like, you'd have to hate yourself. So there it is, the lower intercooler for the GT500, or the intercooler brick, let's just say. And there's a hose, some weird freaking hose that God knows how the hell you're going to put it on, unless you like tilt the engine forward or something stupid, but it's out. So a couple things you got to do is shake this guy out, make sure nothing got jacked up. But before we do that, let's peek inside there, see if we can use maybe the cell phone camera to peek inside and see what the valves look like. And let's see if they're still attached. If not, they're in the piston, so we'll see how that looks. See what's going on. See if the camera helps get a better look at what's going on. There, oh, much better. This camera's way better. Let's put it right up here. Dang it, it's almost like I gotta do that. Yeah, there you go. Good, good, good. Not sure. A little difficult to get a good shot. But anyway, you get the idea. So it looks like all the valves are intact and they didn't hit the piston, which is very, very nice and good news. Taking the video of the valves. A little vertical video action. Looks like they got some heat in them. These are holding water, so we know these are not super bent. Also holding water. Get the focus on point. And these guys got pretty fucking hot. But are they bent though? I don't know. Holding water. I don't know. Let me send this off to Mr. Ray, see what he says. Okay, so this will be an interesting test. I ended up taking all the water out of the middle two cylinders, this guy and this guy. So now I'm going to rotate the cam until the other two close. Looks like it's an 18 millimeter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get up in here, scooch in here real quick. Oh, there goes my knee. As my knee explodes. And I'm going to monitor when the valves shut on this front cylinder here, and I should rotate as if I'm tightening. Yeah, look at that. Okay, spins right there, and he wants me to spray brake clean. It's a little springy. Okay, he wants you to spray brake clean in there to see if it leaks. If it leaks, we got a bent valve, meaning the brake clean makes it into the piston. Oh, we got a leaky situation. Okay, just flood the motherfucker. That's like cold start fueling. Would you look at that? They're holding water. Son of a gun. So actually, yeah, look at that. Ah, dang it. There you go. So they're both, I'm trying to get a good shot, guys. I apologize. This is extremely difficult to do it by yourself. So trust me when I say there we go. Jesus. So they're definitely both, let me shake it. So you can see the puddle on both valves. Very good. So now I'm going to work my way over to this guy and see if these hold water. And if they do, I mean, shit. Theoretically, I don't have bent valves, and the cam just happened to fall in that perfect spot where they weren't fully open, and I got lucky, but we'll see. The things I do. This isn't a content thing. This is literally saving me from taking this thing apart without having to. Yeah, I'm literally on top of the motherfucker. Ooh. Oh, it's springing back. Got it. Okay. Oh, actually, it's shut. So that's good. Okay, I see what's happening. That's shut, that's open. Okay, so the middle two are open, the outer two are shut. So that's good. And wouldn't you know it, it's holding also. Wow. I either got extremely lucky or, yeah, I'm sure I got extremely lucky. Sorry. It's all a part of working by yourself. So let me shake the car. See the puddle on both? So this one and this one, fuck are you? Are both, let me shake, holding water or fluid. And both of these are closed. See? And these two are open. So obviously they're not, but they were holding water initially. So I got extremely lucky. Let's finally wrap this up. Okay, so what happened was I broke the secondary timing chain, and the secondary timing chain apparently is responsible for spinning the intake cam. If the intake cam is not controlled and the intake valves are open while the piston is coming up, it can absolutely slap a valve and bend it. Talking to Keith, talking to Jake, they told me what to look for. Jake asked me, what the valves look like. I took video, I showed him, and he said they look good. Why don't you do this? Spin the intake cam so that every valve is shut on one, the valves are shut, and then you can spray carb cleaner, obviously not water, you don't want rust getting into the cylinder, and see if it holds fluid. And I took some brake clean, sprayed it in there after rotating the intake cam to shut the valve, and it held fluid. These two were already full of fluid from me removing the intercooler, and some coolant got in there. I ended up taking a rag, cleaning it up so that it's not a problem in the future in case it sits for a little bit. But I did it on this guy and this guy, which were the two that were the dirtiest, which tells me these two were open while the combustion event was happening. So theoretically, if I replace a secondary timing chain, I might be okay, but that might require me undoing everything. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to talk to the right people. But for those of you that guessed on the post that I put up that chain related, I needed you guys to be more specific because many things can happen in the chain area. The secondary timing chain broke, causing the intake cam not to move, causing the intake valves not to move and not have actual combustion. Two were open the whole time, so it's basically fire going up into the intercooler and getting everything all jacked up. But I think I got lucky and I didn't bend any valves. So I'll let you guys know what the plan is going forward. I might have gotten lucky and just have to replace a secondary timing situation, but that might mean I have to take the complete front cover off. But I'll keep you guys posted. I think I got lucky, but I still think I want to reconfigure some things on this car now that I've torn it apart and want to do some stuff. But okay, thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate that. It seems to not have been a big deal, even though it looked like it was, but maybe I got off a little on the lucky side. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you guys later.